Hello and welcome back to the Heinz Report, Case Files edition. I go by the name of Dr. Heinz, and I'll be your host for the evening, as usual, because this is kind of my channel, and I'm here to entertain you all the best way I can possible, bring you these legal cases in the best way I can, and yeah, just basically putting a twist on it. And we're going right back to the Jonathan Majors case. I've been covering this all over this channel. Make sure you go and check that out. Uh, all of my coverage is on this channel, and and yeah, the live streams as well, going through the Majors case, the interviews, and they're all wrapped up in a neat little package. So yeah, make sure you check out all the content that we have on the channel. And yeah, and where we stopped last time on this case was quite wild, because we went through her testimony in regards to what she was basically going through after the all ordeal, the all altercation. And it was quite interesting because of what she has said to have been doing. Who she had testified that she had help from her friend Ben to pack up the stuff. She contemplated staying the night um in the apartment that he lives at, and this was the same day he was arrested, the night before they hadn't gone into his altercation. And she testified that she was living in fear with him, which is just like, there were so many things in that testimony, in that direct testimony, that just wasn't consistent with what would with reality, really. I understand people have different reactions to different type of events. That's not really the point of contention. It's just some things are just too linear or too consistent to just break pattern. So when I noticed all those stuff, I couldn't help but look back into places in my life that just didn't really sit well with hearing that testimony, hearing obviously I can't see her mannerisms, obviously I can't see what she is, how she's reacting to all of this. But it was just in my opinion random. That's the best word I can actually uh put articulate all of this, because it didn't feel as if everything that she was saying was lining up again with reality. So a little bit more recap. If you've missed the previous versions of this coverage, you can go to drheinz.info, where you can pretty much get all of where you can pretty much get the highlight versions of these streams, because they are quite, I mean, you can get it all condensed into one file and make it easy for you to access and watch again, should you choose to do so. uh I'm just gonna go share it so you can go see. It's right here, the Heinz report, Jonathan Major's criminal case. And these articles will be written every week. This one was going through week one, which was the first week that we had started on and embarked on this journey. And I appreciate every single one of you for being with me. We go through it all here. It's all wrapped up for you in case you want to go into a deep dive and binge on everything. And also, bonus, you get to see all of the transcripts. You can get it for yourself right here, and also see what has been used when it was being shown to you right here on stream. You can see that, and then you can basically fact check me, or follow along, basically, or not follow along, but you know what I mean. You can basically get the information yourself, read it up for yourself, and see, and just just for full transparency, basically, this is what I'll be doing. Uh, all of that is basically all on the web on drheinz.info. So yeah, so with I'm gonna go into Grace Jabbari's testimony, but because it is heading to the cross exam, judging on how it finished yesterday, judging on because we were finishing, but because when we were finishing it, it was it seemed like the defense was closing, but we ran out of time, and I unfortunately I had to go and attend to other matters. But cross exam is literally around the corner. It was literally around the corner, and to be honest, it was a good stopping point. To be quite fair, I'm trying to find the page now because I didn't put the the page part, but I believe she was about to testify that she was going to go to the airport in order, in order to travel back to her place. So this little recap aside, just a quick recap uh, in regards to the previous two streams, in regards to this co-read. For those that don't know, she had testified that that she was messaging her friend Holly. Then she ended up sleeping on the bathroom floor. She actually said she was sleeping on the bathroom floor after speaking with Holly. How she was in the closet, no idea. But she said she was sleeping in the bathroom floor because it was warm and stuff like that. Clearly, she was found in the closet. Why did I would never understand why the jury wouldn't look at it with a little bit of skepticism, being like, well, if your memory is not that great, how much do you remember that night? Like, how positive are you really? Like, you've already testified to vomiting, which she did. She testified to vomiting, and a lot of that, it was just strange going through that. But moving on with the recap, the police had arrived, found her in a closet. She testified that she was trying to protect Jonathan, but she also was telling them that they should take Jonathan to another room. And then she told them what had happened. She told them the altercation, etc. We of course heard from Officer Swain's testimony when we first done this on the first episode of the recap, where he actually said that when he was questioning her, she didn't actually tell them that the injuries came from him. He was the one that volunteered that information. He was the one that basically said to her that were those injuries caused by the organization, and then she said, I guess so. So, but when you marry the two and you try to marry the two, her statements is in conflict with Officer Swain, because she's saying that that he was the one that was doing this. She said that she didn't know what the strangulation charge was even reflecting or was even about. So and this was a stump to me, because I'm like, how do you not know what a strangulation charge would mean? That was weird to me. However, um that yeah, all of that is neither here or there. She testified to being strangled by Jonathan. The officers corroborated this. They arrested him, even though it was firmly established that all these events happened the night before. But again, she was saying that she was in fear of this guy, etc. And and which yeah, based on what I've seen on this dynamic, it's a bit strange to claim that you were living in fear. But we're gonna go right back into the um the testimony, the direct testimony, where we didn't really stop here, but it's just to recollect and refresh our memory into all of this. So now, directing your attention back a little bit into March 25th, you mentioned that you had a flight on the 26th. Yes. How did you get to the airport? I believe I called an Uber, or could it? I would have to have my memory refreshed. It could have been a pre-booked car. You took a car to the airport. Yeah. Do you remember how you paid for that car ride? Just with the car I have been using, Why did you do that? I wasn't really thinking about anything other than just getting home. So really, I probably should have used my original debit card, sure. But I just wasn't thinking about changing my cards on my phone at this point. I was just like getting get me home, get me out of here. In the coming days, how if at all did your pain level change? Well, I got home to my parents, and I think my mom kind of looked at me and realized there was a lot more bruising that I kind of registered. I didn't feel comfortable. I looking at my body. I was in a lot of pain, so my pain level was still high. I went to the doctors again and to the hospital. So yeah. Um, Again, I don't know where we stopped last time. I don't know where we stopped last time. I think I am a little bit ahead here. I forgot to say what page number you would have registered in my head. I don't really write down anything outside of the really key things, like what I need to ask um attorneys if I need to get help, like all of those. But outside of that, I haven't really written down the page number. So apologies there. Let me try and I think it was there that we stopped. I'm not too sure. Yeah, did there come a time? Yes. So we did stop around here where she basically testified that she was feeling guilty in regards to what had happened to Jonathan, and getting him arrested, and she felt it was her fault. I mean, it was your fault. I mean, you volunteered all the information. I basically went through it on the stream to basically say what she could have said to if she was really trying to protect him, what she could have actually said, and all of that. uh yeah, because because it was over what he had done to me, because it was over what he had done to me. Oh, you mean he broke up with you? That's what actually happened. Like you just say it. I did a stream with LW Living Warrior Hub, and I do agree with her on this one. It was a toxic relationship, and they probably would have got back together if all of this didn't happen. If that probably would have happened, we would never know. Obviously, it's speculative at this point. We would never know if they would have actually rekindled. I do think, based on the events that actually happened, it would have been the last straw, based on the fact that he has got someone very, 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 very quickly, and he was cheating as well. Yeah, yeah, it was the last straw. But I toxic relationships do tend to have that little, you know, break up to make up kind of thing going with it. So yeah, so I just wanted to reassure him that I didn't tell him anything. Yeah. So what if anything did you tell about the charges? I said that they told me they were charging with a bunch of strangulation, and I didn't understand the context around that. Again, this is what I was saying. How do you not understand the context around strangulation? Come on, it's pretty obvious, but this was a minimization that I wasn't really happy with from her, because you could just admit that. But what do you mean you didn't understand the context around it? Like, did he strangle you or did he not strangle you? But apparently she's saying that she didn't understand it, and that told them to drop it. I don't understand what you're saying now. Did he? Anyway, moving on. Why did you send the defendant after you've been assaulted? And again, also, like I said in the previous stream, I wouldn't be surprised if the jury just booked them just for this. I wouldn't be surprised, because from the cameras, it would be plausible to actually believe he caused injuries here. Even though the charge is not there, it does. It is vague enough. Even though the strangulation charge is not there, the assault charge is vague enough to include strangulation. It's just, I'm guessing strangulation charge would have just added on to, you know, the sentencing or the sentence length he would have received, should it have been the case that he was guilty of strangulation as well. Why do you send that to the defendant after you've been assaulted by him? Just to know that I wasn't trying to get in trouble. Did you at any point intend on cooperating with the criminal case? At this point, I'm just okay. So it says at that point I wasn't thinking of anything beyond at the moment. That was just trying to fix the situation we've found ourselves in as best way as possible. Trying to fix it. It's too late at this point. Who, if anyone, did you tell was at fault for him being arrested? I don't know exactly what I said. I think I was saying I told them it was my fault. I grabbed the phone. That's why you attacked me. That kind of thing. Why did you say it was your fault? I just, from when he would get angry at me in the past, I would put the kind of blame on me, etc. So we did go through all of this. She talks about going to the police precinct, uh, and yeah, giving a statement in, and what had basically happened there, and the reports coming back. Now I think we stopped here, around here, or when she took the flight. We already read this part, when she went to see the parents, etc. So it was here. We read this part as well about the ear being very sore, and I believe we stopped here. So we're gonna read this part again. He says, "What was the pain like in your ear in the coming weeks?" It was very, very sore. Yes. Was it different from at all from how you had experienced it previously? Well, let me rephrase the question. That was badly worded. What was the pain? What was the pain in your ear? Was the pain in your ear different than it was on March? To which she responds, one second, just let me just send this tweet out. Okay, done. Okay, tweet sent. Make sure that you do the same. Make sure you like and share the stream so that the algorithm can become our best friends, and it can push the stream out there, because we are going through the code read transcript of Grace Jabbari's testimony. Let's go. So he says, yeah, it was a different kind of pain because it was healing, it had been glued back to my head, and it was kind of achy, and that kind of feeling, and that kind of healing pain. I still couldn't lie on the right side of my head, still couldn't it was still painful. A bit different kind of pain. There was no adrenaline left in my body. I was just feeling it all very much at this point. Which ear was that? My right ear. Let the record reflect that the witness indicated towards our right ear, which will be, I believe, facing witness stand. Anyway, moving on. What was your pain like in your head after March 25th? Yeah, it was very sore. I had a few bruises that I probably didn't notice. My mom kind of grabbed me and just said, "Objection." That was most likely hearsay, and it was sustained. I'll ask a question in a different way. That's okay. How did the pain in your head change the week after the assault? So basically, that's a completely different question. Yeah, I was argumentative, rephrasing the question. Says, how did the pain in your head change a week after the incident with the defendant? So that was the argumentative here. How did your pain change after the assault? Yeah. It was more like close to where the bruising was on my head, but still felt painful. Yeah. Where was the bruising? It was like a bruise on the back of my head. I think there was one front too, and it just felt like then kind of bruising here, around my ear as well. If people are wondering why lawyers object or anything like that, because the reason why I'm gonna sidebar for a second here. The reason why I'm bringing this up now is because the guest on the previous stream, Angelina Lewis, great guest in my opinion. I personally felt like she done really well in articulating our points, even though many would not have agreed. But that's neither here or there. What I'm trying to say is, she was saying that evidence was suppressed and all of these things in this case. When objections, happen like this, that's also could be construed as suppression of evidence. We all know that that's not the case, because testimony is crucial, and it is crucial in cases like rape, for example, or something like that. So when you're giving testimony, it has to be accurate, and the way that is being asked has to be has to be worded in a way that it doesn't bring an answer that is favorable. No, not favorable. What's the word I'm looking for? That so that the whatever comes out of the witness mouth is the closest to the truth, rather than what would be self-serving for their case. Of course, you can always bypass this and just, like, use technicalities and go around it, or the witness can just say untruths. It'll be cleaned up in the cross exam anyway. But the point of the matter, or the truth of the matter, is when it comes into questioning like this, or and you see those objections, is to make sure that the account that you're receiving is the most reliable account. Because I remember when the whole Depp v. Heard thing was going on, and Elaine couldn't get a question in during the redirect, and people were like, oh my gosh, well, how is no, because questions has to be asked in a way that the answers are reliable, and it doesn't come in to, like, prejudice the other party, which would be obviously serving you. It has to be the truth, can't just be what you want it to be. So Flavio Souza, thank you so much for tuning in once again. I appreciate you. The photos of Jonathan's injuries were suppressed. That, I have to agree with this. That would be an evidence of suppression, because they still were relevant. But as Nate the lawyer explained on part 5 of the streams that we've done, part 5, as Nate the lawyer explained, he basically said that all those evidence would have come in if he pled self-defense. If he pled self-defense because he got injuries to prove why he would defend himself, that would come in. It will all be valid. However, however, he said because he wasn't pleading that, it becomes irrelevant. However, I still feel like with a different judge, maybe they may have looked at it and be like, you know what, that actually does come in, because she is acting as if she didn't do anything to him. You understand what I mean? Like, some judge may look at that and be like, you know what, let it in, because she's acting as if, or what the witness is acting as if she was completely innocent, didn't do anything. So I never caused him any injuries. I never done this, etc. Of course, they have to get permission to kind of ask that question, because his injuries wouldn't be relevant in a non-self-defense kind of case. So I just thought I just go there. So going back into the stream, going back into the transcript, says, how long did it take before you experienced that kind of bruising? I don't know, because I wasn't really I felt so kind of small, and I didn't really want to look at myself. So it was more telling it was more people telling me I was bruised, I suppose. Yep, that was so what's most likely objected is basically her, going into the substance of what she was told, basically, of what of what was basically said to her by the people, which of course is extremely it's extremely prejudicial. Like, you can't necessarily say, okay, they told me I had this, they told me I had that. Again, it's self-serving hearsay, and it doesn't really help matters, so to speak. So yeah, how did the pain in your finger change over time? Yeah, I guess because it was tied together, I could do less with it. The pain was still very, very high. As I said, it's kind of different pain. Something is healing as opposed to when it was first it's first been hurt. But for example, I couldn't, like, put any weight on my hand, like, flat, because that would really hurt it, things like that. Or yeah, if I would knock it a little bit, it would really hurt. What if any bruising or withdrawn? What if any bleeding did you experience in your right ear in the whisk alone? None. It was still back together with glue. And on March 25th, 2023, where if at all was the ear bleeding on your right ear? Objection asked and answered. Yep. So the reason why they do, most likely, I don't know, to be honest, asked and answered too well, but I think the reason why they do it is so that they stop repetitive testimony, because it could be at the risk of sounding truer, because it's being repeated over and over again. It could also have room or for the witness to kind of calibrate their story a little bit, change their answers a little bit, modify their answers. And again, because the jury is hearing this, they may not pick up on the previous answer and just take this one as a new one. So that's why asked and answered is, it sounds redundant to keep saying asked and answered because, but it's to basically stop. That's what I'm thinking anyway. Ms. Jabari, approximately how long did it take before you were free of pain? I would say no sooner, probably a bit after a month, 7 weeks ish, and even then took the ear took so long. I think it's like a very delicate place on your head. So how has your life been impacted from the incident um on March 25th, 2023? I don't know what the objection here would be. Facts on the evidence. I'm not too sure. It wouldn't be hearsay. Narrative, maybe narrative, maybe narrative. All right. After we just had a sidebar where the parties both discussed the issue with me, the objection is overruled. Okay. I'm guessing. I'm guessing she won. Sorry, no. I'm guessing she did win that, most likely because of the fact that she's just going to be testifying from her own state of mind rather than speculating or doing anything like that. It's just what her state of mind would be. I wish they showed what was going on those sidebars. I really do. Extremely negative. Yeah. Can you explain what you mean by that? Just been a lot of unwanted attention over a really difficult period of my life. One I would like to keep quite private. Shut up. You didn't want to keep this private. I wish that body cam came in because of that one sentence. You did not want to keep this private. Anyway, moving on. And I've had to tell my friends and family like everything that's been really hard. I'm a very private person. Sure you are. You went on Instagram to post. Okay, moving on. Sorry. So that part of has been really hard, kind of. The show of it all, the stuff that's been said about me is untrue, and just having to take it, it's like the abuse that I was in has not ended. Okay. Thank you. Nothing further. Okay, cross-examination time. Right. This is the moment that we've been waiting for. Priya Chowdhury takes the reins in the cross-examination and is going to be examining Ms. Jabbari. So Ms. Jabbari, you and I never met, correct? Correct. And you don't know what I'm about to ask you. Is that correct? That's correct. But you've met me with the district attorneys in this case several times, right? Correct. And how many times have you met them? I've met with them, including about 3 or 4 times in person, and then like 2 or 3 times in Zoom as I was in the UK. And how long were those sessions? Varied. Some were short, some were like an hour. So when was the last time you met with the district attorney's office before you took the stand? I think 2 days before, the day after I arrived in New York. So on the weekend, Saturday. When you met with the district attorneys, they went over over what questions they were going to ask you on the stand, correct? Not exactly, but some, I guess. Well, they were preparing you for your testimony, right? Correct. And they were preparing you for the answers you would give, correct? No. Objection overruled. The answer can't stand. She said no. They went over evidence with you, correct? They showed me what they were going to be using as evidence, yes. And the questions they were going to ask you about those things, they were going to be to use as evidence, right? To some extent. You discuss what your answers were going to be in response to the evidence they were going to put in, correct? No, not correct. No. You didn't tell them during your trial prep sessions what your answers were going to be. Objection, asked and answered, overruled. Yeah, no, it's not asked and answered. They were not telling me just what to say. I think that's what I took from your question. They let me speak freely about what the truth was in response to the questions they were asking. I have to refresh my memory. It was a long time ago. If Priya had a self-defense in here, she would have won this case. I mean, I still think. Never mind. Let's just keep moving on. What's a long time ago? March and the relationship. Ms. Jabbari, you did tell them what your answers were going to be in response to 7 pieces of evidence, correct? I answered the questions when they would ask me them. Yes, correct. So that's a yes to what I just said. I would answer the questions. I didn't tell them exactly what I was going to say. I just answer freely. I just want to be clear. The answer to the question I asked you is yes, correct. Objection, also answered. That's sustained. In preparing for your testimony, the district attorneys showed you the videos that were shown to the jury, correct? Correct. And part of their preparation for your testimony is discussing with you what you were going to say about those videos, correct? Please, may you say that again? Can I have the question read back? No, not correct. So the right by the question. You did not tell the district attorney what you were going to say when you were showing those videos? Yeah, I'm confused a little bit with your wording. Just the wording is confusing, to be quite frank with you. If you could just, she's not being non-responsive. I don't think she's understanding your question. You could ask her in a different way. They showed you these videos in preparation, correct? I've seen the videos. I think once before. Is the answer to my question yes? May you repeat it? Yeah, I think that's correct. Ms. Jabbari, I'm asking you yes or no question. So if you could answer with a yes or no, I would appreciate that. Control the witness. I'll try my best. They did tell I think this girl, like I said, she comes from a family like Danny said, sorry. And like I said in the previous streams, she comes from a family of lawyers. So I think she's really ready for this for this entire line of questioning. So I'm gonna sidebar for a minute. She's really ready for this line of questioning, because she seems prepared. She seems that she knows. She knew that these questions were coming, because I think it's just a typical defense tactic. I'm not too sure. I'm not a defense attorney, but I think this is something that you would want to plant the seeds into the jury's head to ensure that she's not being truthful, with what she has certified to you for the past 2 days, or a day actually. So that's what they would typically begin with, just to basically put cause them in a bad light. So I'm gonna continue on with the testimony, but before I do that, make sure you like this and share this stream as well, so that the algorithm can, it can get around. And of course, it goes without saying, please don't forget to like this and also subscribe. It will really help so much in just getting the word out there, and in getting in getting more and more people involved with these live streams. So I'm gonna go without further ado, I'm gonna go back into the code read of Grace Jabbari. But before I do that, I'm just gonna go to the chat and say yes. Flavio says go pray. Of course. I mean, I don't think she's done a bad job, if I'm being honest with you, because I just think that she had a defense that could have been circumvented. I mean, it could have been a different story, but she still could have won this case. And I don't think she put a bad case. I really, like I said, I really need to figure out and ask, lawyers why the defense didn't go into the background of those texts. I'll be sure to do that, so that, because I feel like it was a tactic, because they went into the background of the other texts that came in, because it wasn't just that one text that came in, it was another text that also came in that had to do with him committing suicide, the full length of it. We read it, and I'm referring back to the stream that I did, and they went into the background of that. So, and yeah, so let's just basically go back into it, and resume with the reading. So it says, they did tell you that you were going to be cross-examined, correct? Yes, correct. And they did explain how cross-examination works, correct? Yeah, to the best of their ability, yes. See what I mean? You don't have to, okay, but yeah, yes. And they did tell you not to answer yes or no. No. So it's your choice to answer yes or no. Objection, argumentative, yep. Did they suggest to you that you could explain your answers on cross-examination? No, they didn't. They just told me to answer. So to answer, so the answer to that question was no. Yes. And I'm so confused. When they show I have to laugh at that. I have to laugh as well. When they showed you the videos, you told them what you were going to say about those videos, correct? Asked and answered. We went through this. That's what she hasn't answered. Also, judge, as to form, I don't know what video. Sustain. Okay, so yeah, okay. So now she has to rephrase the question. The video compilation. So when these district attorneys showed you, sorry, assistant district attorneys showed you the video compilation that was shown in court, you told them that what your answers would be about the compilation, correct? I'm finding it hard. The question is just too general. The answers you told this jury during your testimony, you had previously gone over with the district attorneys, correct? Asked and answered. Not word for word, just answer each time. The problem is objection sustained. Objection sustained. The problem is you're asking her, did they go over each and every single question? How could they do that? Just focus on the question a bit differently. Ms. Jabbari, you are that's what the judge was instructing Priya. So Ms. Jabbari, so Priya says, Ms. Jabbari, you are aware that not all surveillance videos in this case were played during your testimony, correct? Objection, like a person, lawyer. We'll find out. like I said, I like this judge. I think he was. I mean, you may disagree, but I do think he was kind of fair. But I will see if my opinion changes as we go along. I'm not sure. I don't know. You see what I mean? Okay. There's videos of you dancing at Lucy's, correct? Yes, correct. Those videos were not played, correct? Correct. In your preparation to testify, you said a minute ago that the district attorneys discussed with you the cross-examination, correct? So this is the point I want to make, because the district attorneys, those videos that were released, they don't include her running into the wall, but I'm definitely adamant that we're gonna read that as we go ahead. Did they discuss with you the potential topics you might be asked about? Yes. That was part of your meetings with the assistant district attorneys to prepare you for your trial, correct? It was true of one of the meetings, yeah. Now, Ms. Jabbari, you testified that you and Mr. Majors were in a relationship, correct? Correct. And that it was an intimate relationship, correct? Correct. And it began in August 2021, correct? Correct. And you shared a lot about yourselves with each other, correct? Correct. You met each other's families, is that right? Yes. You spent holidays with each other's families, is that correct? Yes. And you wanted to marry him, is that right? Yes. And you wanted to have children with Mr. Majors, is that right? Yes. You knew about Mr. Majors' background because of your relationship with him. All objection to oh, come on. Yeah, okay. The things Mr. Majors shared about himself with you included some of his upbringing, correct? Correct. And in that, you learned that Mr. Majors was born in California, correct? Correct. And you, in fact, lived with Mr. Majors at least twice, correct? Correct. Oh, wait. I didn't actually hear the first bit of your question. Sorry. I'm trying to shout because I'm right over Mr. Perez. Ms. Jabbari, you lived with Mr. Majors at least twice, correct? Correct. Once in London, you told us? Yes. And once in New York, right? Yes. And you and Mr. Majors also, aside from living together, spent a lot of time together, right? Yes. And you also exchange a lot of photos with each other, right? Yes. And one of the reasons for that is because you were often separated, right? Yes. So you've seen a lot of photos of Mr. Majors, right? Yes. And in fact, you yourself had what you called a photo of Mr. Majors, right? I'm unsure about that. You had an album that you kept of photos of Mr. Majors that you would look at when he was traveling and you weren't together. Is that correct? Maybe some albums, yeah. And you are familiar with Mr. Majors looks like, right? Yes. And you are familiar with Mr. Majors, who was wearing on the evening of March 24th going to 25th, right? Yes. You spend the evening with Mr. Majors, right? Yes. I'm showing you what has been entered subject to connection. So it can not be published to the jury yet, officer. So it's getting ready. Miss Jabbari, we will just hold on to photo. Okay, so his face is yep, defensive. Have you had a chance to? I wish I had this exhibit. Ah, have you had a chance to look at that? Yes. Do you know who that's a photograph of Jonathan? You know, Your Honor, at this time we offer defenses into evidence. Objection, judge, subject. Wait, what was the objection? What could be bad about a photo? Relevance, maybe? I don't know. Is that a true and accurate photo of Mr. Majors? It's off his side of his face. It's not his whole of his face. In what's marked as Defense Exhibit 100A is what Mr. Majors wearing. In this consistent with what he was wearing on the night of March 24th and 25th? I believe so, but I wouldn't say 100%. But because it wasn't my clothes to know any. Sorry. Can I have the answer read back? So your answer is that you just to make sure I understand that you believe this is what Mr. Majors was wearing that evening. I believe so. Now she's going to memory test. Fair enough. But I don't know, like 100%. It could be different. It feels like it was the same. Your Honor, I once again offer defense. I'm going to object. On what grounds? Sure, Vidia Lil. Sure. What photo is this? Ms. Jabbari, looking at that, at that was Defense Exhibit 108. Do you know when this photo was taken? No. Do you know who took that photo? No. Judge, I object to the relevance. They have to establish when the photo was taken. The more important question: do you recognize this photo, and is that a fair, accurate representation of what appeared on what was the date? March 24th, March 24th, March 25th, March 24th into 25th. No. What part of this is it as to how objection sustained is not in evidence? Okay, relevance. I'll take that back. Ms. Jabbar, so what photo is this? Okay, Ms. Jabbar, so they are a photo sustained. They are, sidebar for a second. They are going into memory here. They're trying to show you that if she cannot even remember what this guy was wearing that night, how could she be even sure that he was causing all of these things? I mean, it is possible to forget details. Sorry, to not know exact details of what happened in terms of someone, or in terms of what someone was wearing. Especially if the colors are black, for example, or dark blue or something like that. If I was wearing yellow clown suit, then of course you have to remember that. Like it's unique. But I don't see how this is shedding a light on anything. Ms. Jabbari, on the night of March 24th into 25th, Mr. Majors did have a light beard on his face, correct? I believe so, yes. Ms. Jabbari, as part of getting to know Mr. Majors, you also learned that he received a master's from Yale School of Drama, correct? I wasn't aware it was a master's, but I know he went to school of drama. Let me just go to chat switching real quick. Sidebar. It's a scratch photo. They don't want her to let it approve. You got done. Oh, let me get a scratch photo up. Actually, I didn't even know that. Okay. Solo Dove, let me know how you ascertained that it was a scratch photo, please. That would be really really helpful. But let me try and let me try and find it so that I can blast it up on the screen and show you guys what it is. I'm just trying to get it. I didn't think I would need it today because don't know why I didn't think I would need it today. It's cross exam day. But let me just open image in a new tab, save it so that we can use it for future references. Oh, side of his face. Oh, okay. Oh, good catch. Good catch, Solo Dove. Good catch. And she is playing a huge game. Yes, this is what I was saying in regards to her coming from a family of lawyers. They know what they are actually doing. They know how to basically prep her for this. I mean, it's an advantage, sure, but it's just one of those ones. And that's also very interesting. That's actually very interesting because, and I'm gonna start with showing this photo first. That's actually, this is the most interesting part about this case, right? You have, I'm gonna go back. You have this photo of Majors. This is Majors attire for that the jacket is ripped, right? Clothes. Grace Jabbari's clothes are not damaged. That's the most interesting part about this, actually. Grace Jabbari's clothes are not damaged or anything like that. So it makes me question what clearly is not. Obviously, I can see why the jury would think it's not intentional, but at the same time, I have to also, uh, you know, think for a second and just be like, how much damage was he doing if there is no kind of, I mean, again, I'm trying to, they couldn't, I know for a fact that I'm trying to give the jury the benefit of the doubt. I know they didn't go for the ear because that's just way too out of their, they probably concluded that that could have been anywhere else. But the finger, I don't think they would have got, like, based on what Grace said, as in I went for the phone, they probably would have just concluded on she didn't do it. But we read what she said about the neck. If that's probably the most likely one that I can think of, and that's what I'm trying, and that's what I'm trying to say. Like, based on everything Jonathan was doing, like it doesn't suggest intentionality. You know what I mean? Like the actual intent, like, out together, all those things. It just doesn't, because something, a material of her would be broken, but sorry, would be damaged or something, but none of that occurred. Let me just go to the chat. Jamir, what's up? Welcome to the stream, Jamir Solomon. Welcome. Go. I hope you are well. Ghost 43881 says, "Is picture that was shown what caused the judge to let the text messages in?" No. So the text messages, what caused it to let it in was the line of questioning in regards to what was going on with the body cam and Grace Jabbari's coyness with the police. So they brought in the text messages to show previous patterns. The interesting part was we got to see the extended version of the previous texts that was shown, which was all is fake, etc., and the suicide aspect of that, as well as that. So that was what I was basically trying to establish on the previous stream. Not the previous last transcript read, but the interview rundown, that they were able to go into the background of that, but not this one, which was, I personally thought it was strategy, because if you're gonna let both text messages in and you only go into background, it can't have been restricted. But Jamir Solomon says that's also true because she went to the club after. Exactly. Like, none of her, like, I have to really think, like really think about it. How dangerous really was this guy if all you have to show is like a red hand that could have been easily caused by you going for the phone, your ear that no one even saw, or even, like, you didn't even notice until later, which can happen. Not saying some people, like, I have cut my leg, like, but that's my leg. I don't know what his pain sensation is like for your ear, like, but she discovered the blood when she was getting back to the apartment at 3 o'clock. But again, it's all um when it comes to, in regards to her injury to her ear, I think that was always going to be a long shot. But she had 3 injuries that the defense had to really clear out of a reasonable doubt, and I felt the neck one was the one that they probably couldn't or didn't attack at all, so the jury just went for that. Sana Deck, welcome. Thank you so much for tuning in. And she fell into the wall coming out of the club. Yes, we could to get into that. So this is the jury. This is the picture that I believe, was what was shown to they wasn't shown to the jury, but the judge was basically sustaining the objections for it to come into evidence. So it wasn't brought into evidence for jury's consideration. Um, you know, that's now confirmed. In meeting, so I wasn't aware that he was a master, but I know he went to Yale School of Drama. Yes, wasn't aware he was a master. You sure? Okay. In meeting each other, no, I'm sorry, that doesn't. Okay. In meeting each other's families in November of 2022, you went to Texas for Thanksgiving to meet Mr. Majors. Why wouldn't, I'm sorry, a black man getting a master's degree from Yale School of Drama and you wasn't aware? How dedicated were you in this relationship? I'm sure he talked. I would be bragging about that. If Jonathan is this narcissistic type of guy that they're making him out to be in the media, this would be front page news every single day. Grace Jabbari is walking in and out. Like she goes to pee. Did you know? Did you know I got a master's in Yale? She watches TV. Did you know? I got a master's in Yale? She orders food. Oh, by the way, tell the driver I got a master's in Yale. Like that's moving on. In meeting each other's families in November of 2020, you went to Texas for Thanksgiving to meet Mr. Major's mother, correct? Correct. And she's in the courtroom today, correct? Correct. And she's in the courtroom today, right? Correct. And you learned that Mr. Majors grew up in Texas, right? Correct. And that is his mother who is the one who raised him, correct? Correct. And you learned that she asked and answered. Asked and answered. It's objection sustained, learn from who? CSA. Yep. Okay, fair enough. I thought it was asked and answered, but it sounded like the same question over again. So they moved on. You knew that Mr. Majors is Christian, correct? Objection, hearsay. You pray with Mr. Majors, right? That was overruled. Yeah, he would pray before eating. I would join him. And you know that Mr. Majors travels with the Bible, correct? Objection, relevance. Yep. Okay, sustained. So if he's stating, what was the other objections, and why would the judge just sustain? Like do they have some kind of telepathy going on or something? Anyway, you prayed that with his whole family at Thanksgiving, right? Yeah, it happens every Thanksgiving, to be honest. Yes, before a meal. Miss Jabbari, you are aware that Mr. Majors went to Sundance Film Festival for his film magazine Dreams, correct? Correct. And in fact, you wanted to go with him. Here it comes. And in fact, you wanted to go. Oh Lord, this is what Katt was talking about. Okay. And in fact, you wanted to go with him to a festival, correct? That was the plan. This is what Danny and Katt was talking about, that they were supposed to kind of progress, and it wasn't progressing as how she would envision it progressing. I kind of asked this question to Angelina Lewis as well, and yeah, it was to try and establish scheduling and this and that, but she didn't classify this as kind of emotional psychological abuse, etc. It's just her trying to progress the relationship. That's what she said at the time. And I guess you can argue that here is November 2022. And you are aware that Mr. Majors presented at the Oscars this year, February, correct? Objection again as to relevance. Very relevant. Are you aware? Yes. I mean, you've done a whole background, like what okay. And you watched that, correct? Yes. And you met, as you stated, while Mr. Majors was filming Ant-Man, right? Yes. I was working on it as well. And during your relationship, Mr. Majors was also promoting his film Creed 3. Yeah. During our relationship, he shot and then promoted Creed 3. Yes. And in the summer of 2022, when you lived with Mr. Majors in London, Mr. Majors was filming Loki, correct? Correct. And in that, he would send you photos of himself dressed in various costumes of kind, correct? Correct, yes. And you told this jury that your relationship with Mr. Majors was 2 years, correct? Chat. How many years did she say that she was with Majors for? This should not be, I believe. Okay, I believe I said, well, I asked how long I was asked how long we had been together at some point, and I said in August of that year would have been 2 years. I didn't do the math exactly. Almost 2 years. She was nope. This is nope. You adamant it was 2 years. You said 2 years flat out. It was not even. It was not even a 4. It was just 2 years. Transcript is right there. I'm not gonna pull up because I can't remember the page number. I'll try and pull it up for next stream. I can't remember the page number. Maybe nah. Let's not get sidetracked. End of August 2021 is when it began. Correct. Yes. And the relationship ended at the end of March 2023. Correct. Your Honor, can I break before I start my? I see what you done there. That's not 2 years. That's not even a year. That's not even a year. That's not even a year. That's not even yeah, it's not okay. August 2021, they met their family in November 2022. That's a 1 year. So yeah, seem pretty serious. So they were gonna get married, etc. Then to 2023 comes around the corner. So yeah, not really 2 years. And the relationship ended at the end of the we already established. Your Honor, can we took a break, blah blah. They returned. Okay, Ms. Jabbari, on direct, we heard the recording that you had made of Mr. Majors in September 2022. Correct? Without his consent, by the way. Correct? Yes. And at that point, he had been your boyfriend of approximately 1 year. Is that right? Yes. And you surreptitiously, meaning secretly, recorded Mr. Majors, correct? Objection. What's the objection? Hearsay? It's already in evidence. I'm going to have to ask as for what you just said means. Yes, you know what it means. You he didn't know you were recording him, right? Correct. And you never told him about the recording, did you? That's correct. I did not. At the time, Mr. Majors in September 2022 was a well-known actor, right? Yes. We just discussed that. Well, at the time, we just discussed Priya, come on. At the time that you made the recording, you were living in a house with Mr. Majors in London, correct? Yes. And you testified on direct that period Mr. Majors was very busy, right? Yes. That he was filming for Loki season 1, right? Or 2, perhaps. I think he was filming season 2. You remember this part, but you can't remember his Yale masters. Okay, I mean, I'm just caught up in that. Maybe it's my bias, but I know if I achieve something as big as that, I'm letting all my prospective partners know on the first date, first hour. In fact, you would know. I'm surprised she did. Like, I wasn't aware. Like I don't know. Sorry, I'm being paid. My bad. Let me move on. And he was also doing reshoots of Ant-Man in the same period. Right? That's correct. And he was also working on a Johnny Walker campaign in that period, right? I wouldn't be able to recall exact date. It's when he was wearing that fashion thing, wasn't he? I wouldn't be able to recall the exact day of Ant-Man. We went somewhere else when that was being filmed. That wasn't in London. Mr. Majors was also in that period working on a film called Man in My Basement, right? No, he hadn't started working on that yet. That recording you took is Mr. Majors being upset about your drinking, correct? Amongst other things, I believe. You decided during that conversation where to begin recording, right? Yes, that's right. And you decided when to end the recording, right? Yes, that's right. And you have the ability to edit the recording, right? I do have the ability to I do have the ability, yes. Ms. Jabbari, both your parents are lawyers, right? Correct. And your sister is also a lawyer, right? That's correct. Your parents have complained about your drinking habits. Yes, of course, but yeah. Drinking has been a constant source of tension in your relationship with the Majors, right? No. I'm gonna go to the chat real quick. Let me know how you're feeling. How do you think this test? How do you think this how is how do you think this cross examination is going, guys? How is this cross exam? Let me just write in a poll, sidebarring for a second. How is the cross exam going? Let me know what you think. It's in there. Ghost says, I think she caused that injury to her hair from a sharp thumbnail. She was constantly putting her hair back. That's my best opinion. Nothing else really makes sense. I mean, yeah, I think that's plausible. I'm not gonna actually argue against that. I think that's very plausible because she did have sharp nails. There is also um yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna argue against it. I don't know what would happen, but then again, you would find blood under the thumb. That should be the question that I would be asking Dr. Chiang if there was blood under a thumb to at least really put reasonable doubt on the thing. Was there blood under a thumb? Yes. If the doctor said yes on that occasion, then the best thing that would have happened would have been definitely either Jonathan's blood was on the thumb, or or it was from scratching the ear. So the dove says, I drink, I get drunk, fall down, no problem. Welcome back to the stream, by the way, Solo Dove. I appreciate you being here. You're always here. I appreciate that so much. I appreciate every single one of you for actually being here and going through this transcript read with me. Make sure that you check out the other content that we have on the channel, because we do a lot of content on here. Megan Tory, that we heard, etc. And also check out the previous live streams that we've done pertaining to this case. Also, of course, it's all wrapped up in a neat playlist for you, so go and check that out. We also have a documentary out at this point, a docuseries called Deb V. Heard Labyrinth, going through every piece of detail evidence of Deb V. Heard and what happened in that case. I compiled and bring all together, from the testimonies to the audios to all those things. Give you a comprehensive timeline, all of those things that are very relevant in regards to what had happened in that relationship. Interviews was done to really bring out the knowledge in that. It's all in a playlist once again under Deb V. Heard Labyrinth. So without further ado, I'm just gonna go back into the chat and see how into the transcript read. Oh, how could I forget? It should go without saying. Make sure you hit that subscribe button as well. Make sure you share this stream. Make sure you like this video, this stream, so that everyone else can experience my cringy face. If you're all suffering, everyone else must suffer too. I'm sure you want everyone else to indulge in your suffering. Of me going through Grace Jabbari's testimony, her smugness. I don't know. Anyway, going back to the transcript, it says here, it was a source of tension, right? Arsenal answered, no. She said it was constant. Now she says it was a source of the tension. Yep, that's true. No, not to my understanding. To your understanding, Mr. Majors was not happy with your drinking in your relationship. Objection as to form. Why? They're going hard on this. Do you understand the question? I can answer, but I don't know if why don't you rephrase it? And you and Mr. Majors had more than just that argument about your drinking, right? The one we heard on that recording, it wasn't really an argument. It wasn't really an argument. He would get upset with me and use drinking as an excuse for it, I believe. That's a pretty good answer. I won't hate. That's a pretty good answer. That's a very good answer. But Mr. Majors would tell you he was upset with you for your drinking, right? Amongst other things, yes. Told you she's coach. I'm glad that Priya definitely brought in the family lawyer aspect, because if I was listening to this is very someone that has either been coached or has been in courtrooms all of her life, watched true crime, watched all those things, and she just knows what to say. Because amongst other things, like what? If I was Priya, I would throw off. Oh God, like what? Name some and see what she says. Because I'm pretty sure if you hesitate, so it was just drinking. Then that's it. And she says amongst other things, like the ones you just failed to list, and move on. Like if she pauses, I would literally just interrupt. Like any pause, like nah. In fact, a week before March 24th, around March 18th, 2023, you went to Sag Harbor with Mr. Majors, right? That's correct. Yes, Sag Harbor. It's on like Long Island, right? I believe you, yes. Again, I keep saying this. All through this, I will bring it up later on. When I sidebar. It is outside Manhattan, right? Correct? Yes. You drove there with Mr. Majors, right? He drove, and I sat in the passenger seat. He drove a rental car that he had rented, right? Yes. And you got into an argument with Mr. Majors at Sag Harbor, is that right? I find the word argument difficult. Because you started it. Well, you and Mr. Majors had a discussion that caused you to leave and go to the beach with a bottle of wine, right? Yes. Discussion. And the reason the discussion you had is that Mr. Majors, you had asked Mr. Majors about his schedule, right? Yes. And Mr. Majors said he wanted you not to plan your life around his schedule, but he wanted to work. You said and is going to be a compound question, ask the question in a single question, and then you object. All right, go ahead. And Mr. Majors' response to asking about his schedule is that you should not plan his life around his schedule, right? Hearsay. I'll allow that because of the questions that was raised indirect. This is what I mean. I think the judge was really fair. I think the judge was fair, and I think some of the decisions you can question it, but I do think overall he really did try to be as fair as possible. You can answer that. I don't know the exact conversation we're talking about. Oh, of course you don't. Oh, now you forgot. Of course you don't. You texted your friend Holly about this argument, right? Yes. Would it refresh your recollection to see those texts? Yes, please. Your Honor, I'm ending both you and Ms. Jabbari and the people's was being marked for identification only as exhibit 400. The evidence is with 400 identification to show the witness. All right, what page do you want Ms. Jabbari to look at? The first one is probably, I mean, she could review the whole thing. She could let me know. Do me a favor, take a look at this document, read it, put it down. If you refresh your recollection, say it does. If it doesn't, then you tell us it doesn't. Okay, it does. It does refresh my memory. Yes, it does. Okay. It does. Okay. Ask your question. Yes, Your Honor. She's asking whether she could keep it. Just leave it there, just in case you need it again. Don't look at it. Leave it there. Having reviewed what was marked as Defense Exhibit 400, does that refresh your recollection? Yes. Yes, on March 18th, when you were at Sag Harbor with Mr. Majors, you and he had an argument about his scheduling, correct? No. Mr. Majors said that he doesn't know why you would need to know, and you should not plan your life around him, right? Yes. And that you need to work in New York, correct? Yeah. You left this conversation with a bottle of wine and went to the beach, right? We were drinking that wine, and we didn't want to waste it. So they said we could take it with us. So we took it with us with some food. We also didn't eat. Why didn't the papers report this? There was no objections, no nothing. I'm really surprised. Well, not really, but for dramatic effect, I'm really surprised. But you were at the beach alone when you were writing these texts, right? I left an angry version of him to be alone. Objection, not responsive. No, that's responsive. You could answer the question, or do you want to withdraw the question? You were alone when you wrote these text messages, right? That's correct, yes. And I'm sorry to cut you off, but you just so on redirect. Which color is Miss Jabbari and which color is Mr. Majors? Would you like me to say, I'm gray, you're gray? Yes. Good. Okay, go ahead. Those texts, those are text messages with Holly, your friend, correct? Yes. About Mr. Majors? About Mr. Majors? Yes. And while you were at the beach with the bottle of wine, Mr. Majors went back to work on his poetry, right? That's what he said, yes. Because he had a deadline, right? Yes. And you returned from the beach while you were texting Holly to where Mr. Majors was, right? Yes. And at that point, you told Mr. Majors that you wanted to go back to New York City, right? I don't recall that. Miss Jabbari, you got into the car that Mr. Majors rented and tried to drive back to New York City, right? I don't recall that at all. Do you remember being too drunk to operate the car? No. When you went to Bellevue on March 25th of this year, when I went to Bellevue Hospital, she might not know what Bellevue is just on the night of the incident. Is that what you're talking about? Yes. Right after the police found you in the closet and they took you to no. Objection sustained. I don't know what they're gonna say there. So I'm just gonna go to a chat quickly. So Duff says, wait, did they ask if our family have issues with it? Well, yeah. So that question was posed. She didn't really answer it. She basically, sorry, no, not that she didn't really answer it. Sorry, it was objected as a hearsay, and it was sustained because it would be, of course, families. Hearsay also includes thoughts, also includes gestures. Well, some states, some countries also use gestures, etc. But general hearsay would be what a family has said in regards to her drinking. So it was probably believed that they were going to bring that evidence in, so it was objected to. Moving on. When you went to the hospital after this incident, yes. Okay. Wait. When you went to the hospital after the incident, yes. Okay. That's where you were, right? Okay. You told the doctors that you had 5 to 6 glasses of wine, correct? Possibly. I don't recall the number. I told them. Okay. That's strange. You didn't tell the doctors that you had shots of alcohol at dinner, did you? I don't remember. I'm sorry. You didn't tell them that about the shots you did at Lucy's, did you? I don't remember what I told them, to be honest. You told this jury that you don't remember how much you drank the night of March 24th into March 25th, right? I tried to recall to the best of my ability. But you don't actually remember, do you? I don't remember the precise number, no. What drinks do you remember having that night? I remember having 2 drinks at the theater, and then I remember drinking at the restaurant with Jonathan, and then I think it was 3 drinks, and then what were those? I think they were a cocktail of some sort. Yeah, I don't really remember. All right, I'll stop with the voice. All right. I don't remember. And then went to the bar and had a glass and a bit of champagne and some shots. That's like what I remember from 9 months ago or whatever. See what I mean? Yeah. When you say some shot, this is exhibit million of minimization, coaching, everything. When you say some shots, how many shots? 1 or 2. I wouldn't want to promise the number. Where were they shots of? Tequila, probably, I think. Tequila. And I would have loved this one. Tequila. I would have loved it. She went like that in the courtroom. That would have been jokes. Anyway, and the shots that you did at the restaurant. What were those? I don't recall doing a shot at the restaurant. You did review video surveillance from the restaurant with the people, correct? Walk in and out, no time sat in the restaurant. I've never seen that. I don't. Yeah, unless it was a while ago. I don't remember if I did. Sorry. She knows what's coming. She knows what's coming. She actually knows what's coming. You can tell. Like, you can tell the panic is there. It's like it's screaming at you. Anyway, sitting here today, you don't remember the name of the play that you saw that night, right? Yeah, that's my bad. And you don't remember the time that you left the apartment to go to the play, right? like a ballpark number. You don't remember the exact time, right? No. And you don't remember exactly what you ate at dinner, right? Not precisely, no. You don't remember where you sat in the restaurant. I do, yes. You testified on direct, did you not? That you don't recall exactly where you were seated at dinner. I couldn't make out where, like, the entrance of the restaurant was, where the picture was. I couldn't place myself in it. I just got confused by the direction of it all. You do remember when you went to the restaurant that Mr. May just left, that before you left, Mr. May just went to the bathroom, right? Yes, I don't remember, but I'm sure he did. Guys, you know what's coming, right? Let me go back to that poll that I made. I want to see what people are saying now. Okay, it was terrible. At first, people were saying it was terrible. Now it's 50-50. Great, 50% great, 50% terrible. So I want to know why you guys think it's terrible. Let me know in the comments section why you think it's terrible. But yeah, thank you so much for everyone for joining and taking part in voting. So going back to the transcript, it says, and do you remember what you did while Mr. Majors was in the bathroom? No. Ms. Jabbari, while Mr. Majors was using the bathroom in the restaurant, did you remember return? Did you return to the table and finish off one of the last alcoholic drinks? Perhaps, I don't know. After doing that, did you stash the glass so that Mr. Majors wouldn't see it? Wouldn't see it? I don't remember doing that. Ms. Jabbari, as part of this case, you have given things to the district attorney, correct? Can you define things? If you could be a little bit more specific, please. Well, he didn't say please. That's my own insertion right there. Sorry, I'm just trying to fix this. Oh, can't see. All right. Oh, Miss Chowdhury says you gave the district attorney some pages of your journal, right? I think it was one. I don't really have a journal, but it was something I had written down a while ago. Was it a diary? It was like a notebook. Well, at the top of it, you wrote, I don't have my diary here, right? I can't recall, but possibly. And what you gave them was something you wrote about how you were feeling about Mr. Majors on a particular day, right? That's right, yes. If this case was a domestic violence case, if this was actually brought as a domestic violence case, Priya would have, because I think she was quite ready for this witness, and in a kind of an open season kind of thing, all of these questions that she's asking would have been so relevant into everything. It would have been so relevant. But because it's to do with drinking, self-defense wasn't really raised, etc., all those things, these are just considerational. Sorry, are just matters to consider, not really, did Jonathan didn't directly do this, or Grace did this to herself, But anyway, moving on. But you don't, but yet you haven't turned over any writings that you made for yourself about what happened on March 24th into March 25th, have you? I didn't. Objection, judge. Assume it's or something. She could answer. I'm gonna overrule that. I haven't written anything about what happened. And you also turned over some photos to the district attorney, correct? Correct. Oh, sorry, right. Correct? Yeah, okay. Yeah, correct. And you turned those photos over, some photos months ago, right? Yes, yes. But just this past weekend, 8 months after this event, you gave the district attorney 6 other photos that you had not previously shared that you had related to this incident, right? They were like kind of copies. I was sending them, say, pictures of my ear, my finger, and maybe I took 4 or 5. I sent them 2. That's just what I did. When you say copy, these photos I'm referring to are different than the photos that you sent to the district attorney previously, right? Yeah, different angle, or they're different, correct? Yes, yeah. And those photos that you shared over this weekend, those 6 photos, before this weekend, you hadn't shared with anyone, correct? No, probably not. Just showed maybe my doctor. And these photos of your ear and finger, right? And these are photos of your ear and finger, right? Correct. And with the district attorney, you shared some text messages you had with Mr. Majors, right? Yes. And some text messages you have with other people, correct? Correct, yes. But you did not do an extraction of your own iCloud account, did you? I was not asked to. Did you do it? No. And did you do an extraction of your objection, judge? Sustained. You don't have to answer that. I don't know. You you did not provide the metadata. Yeah. This is hearsay grounds, most likely. You did not provide a screenshot of your WhatsApp call log from March 25th to March 26th. Your Honor, may we approach? Yeah, this is it. Will yeah, it's insanely prejudicial. All right. Would you read back the last question? It's sustained, etc. You don't have to answer it. Miss Jabari, you use WhatsApp to make phone calls, right? Yes. And WhatsApp keep logs of, okay, like a foundation, most likely. And WhatsApp keeps logs of phone calls made through it, right? I don't know. You've never looked at your call log through WhatsApp? I think it probably comes up in my normal, like if I God, Jesus Christ. This is not something you should fight over. It's obvious. It's obvious. Anywhere you make a call is going to be a log. Like, come on, you don't need to fight this. You didn't take any. I think she knows. Again, she knows what's coming. I think she knows what's coming. I think she knows. You didn't take any screenshots of who you called on March 5th of March 25th, did you? I don't think so. I don't know. Can't remember. On March 25th, you had two phones, right? Yeah, I had an English number and an American number. I got the order mixed up there. What were you calling an American number? What you're calling an American number is actually an iPhone that Mr. Majors owned and had given you to use when you were in America, right? Yes. And you had both of these phones that night of March to 24th going on to 20 into 25th, right? Correct, yes. And you had both of these phones with you the whole night, right? Yes. And both of those phones when you go back to Mr. Major's apartment, right? Yes. Before you left Mr. Major's apartment with the police that morning, you had not remembered where you had put the phone in the apartment, right? Can you say that again? Sorry. Yes. You entered Mr. Major's apartment on the morning of March 24th with both phones, right? Objection as to characterization. She satisfied they shared the apartment. All right. Did you return the ask it? Did you return the Yep. Okay. Did you return to the apartment with both phones? Yes. And at some point in the morning, when you were speaking with Holly, you asked Holly to call the American number because you couldn't find that phone, right? That's correct. Yes. And before you left it with the police, you did find the American number, right? I think so. Oh, I see what she's doing. She's trying to say that she was that the this is the I don't think prima facie is the right word, but this is the facts, the anatomy of an oaks, basically, that she was cognizant enough, was calculated enough to know what numbers to use to basically communicate. And she's basically trying to establish that on WhatsApp, you don't really need to do this because you're not going to get international charges. Oh, gosh. Gosh. All right. I'm gonna sidebar for a minute and go to the chat right now. It says, so the cocktails can be pretty strong too. Absolutely. I actually prefer cocktails. They do taste sweet, a lot sweeter, and they do hit you. Depending on what you get though. Depending on what you get. Some places at the do have really strong cocktails. So on deck, champagne and tequila. Oh, she was smashed. Absolutely. Absolutely. So the dove. So she handed over cherry pick messages. Most of the damning ones about her came from Holly and Jonathan. Yes, but one thing that she doesn't count on is completeness. The rule of completeness. Like that you have to, when you hand over your phone, etc. Even if you're doing cherry pick, the police have already got your full log. All the defense has to do is like, hey, can you give it to me? Yeah, sure. The police are separate from the prosecution. So again, not a lawyer. I could be wrong here. Fact check me, someone. But in my opinion, I believe the police are separate from the prosecution, because the prosecution would be the ones that will take the case to court and try it there. The police will only be a witness, but the police do put together the charges and they do pass it on to the prosecution to basically see if there's any prospect of the case being taken forward. Again, just guessing. Don't really know. I could be wrong, but yeah, that's what I'm thinking. So they would have all the communications. They would have gathered all of this data, from when she went to comply with them. They would have extracted all this information, and yeah, and I think she knows what was going on, or what's coming. So she's trying her best to like wriggle out of it so that it doesn't come into evidence. Again, family of lawyers, they would teach you. I mean, you will pick up a thing or two. But anyway, going back to this, and we don't have long for the remainder of the transcript read. So let's continue. It says, and you took the phone, and you took that phone with you as you left, right? Yes, I think so. I can't remember. You took that. You took that phone. You did not give a copy of the phone to the district attorney, did you? Objection sustained. Probably the facts not in evidence. Probably why that was sustained. You were asked by. No, I don't I actually don't know what the objection would be there. Actually, you were asked by Mr. Majors to return that phone to him, correct? No. Is it your testimony that the district attorney never relayed to you that Mr. Majors had asked for his phone back? Not that day, a few weeks later. You were asked for the phone back a few weeks later, right? Yes. And you did not return it, did you? No. You still have that phone, right? Yes. This is the guy that made you live in fear. Yet the Marcus is not here. That's like, correct me if I'm wrong, but even going through a small breakup like that wasn't even toxic or anything like that, or wasn't even abusive, and the girl was, or the guy was amazing, and you loved him so much. Don't you? People normally get rid of their stuff because it's just too much of a reminder. But this is she still has the phone. You can't get your own. Damn, girl, wow, you really hung up on this guy, and you did not turn over any photos you took from Mr. Major's phone willingly to the district attorney, did you? Objection. Speculation, maybe. The district attorney never asked to see that phone that Mr. Majors owned that you took with you, did they? Objection as to relevance, sustained. If you were moving on from the phones, it would be a good time to take a break. Okay, and it would be a good time for us to also end the stream here. It is page 254. They are taking a break. Thank you ever so much. I'm gonna go to the chat one last time. She is a cunning thief. I mean, yeah, I agree. Because if the guy asks for his phone back, give it back. But she's holding on to it. So at this point, you really have to question. You really have to question at this point, who was the controlling one in this? Because it's coming out that inside her, she wanted to plan her life around him, and Majors was basically saying, no, don't do that. You can't just plan your life around my schedule. It's giving a picture, like I said, I'm not saying it's minimizing. She keeps minimizing her actions. This is exhibit 1,000,001 of, why she could, be minimizing her why she could have been minimizing her. That's the bell. Sorry, why she could have been minimizing her actions in all of this. Solar Dove, thank you so much. Take care of yourself as well. Thank you for your time. Thank you for joining as well. And thank you, every single one of you, for joining. Make sure you check out the channel for more content. We have interviews out as well as other cases we cover. We also do live streams of many ilk. And also, don't forget to check out the podcast and the playlist we have on the channel. And of course, don't forget to like this video, share this video, and of course, subscribe to the channel for more and more content that we are throwing up. If you're looking for the recap of this episode, we are releasing articles every week now on the Dr. Heinz website that basically goes through each and every part of the testimony in highlight form. So we just done the first part here. It is in the description below. We just done the first part that went through everything that happened in the first week, which would be January 1st to, I believe, January 8th or something like that. That first week, we go through why this whole thing was started. You know, the case files edition of Heinz report, and why we are doing the transcript read, what the transcript read was, the key parts from the transcript read, and you have the videos there in case you want to watch it and binge watch, and you have the supporting evidence as well, including Danny Does Law video of the video of the day that they met, the day that they attended Toronto Film Festival. We also have the DA removing the strangulation charge reported by the Associate Press. Because not a lot of people were reporting on this. The video is right here of Daniel's Law. Need to clean that up a little bit, and of course all the other evidence relevant to this week's stream. Again, I'll be doing the same thing. I'm releasing it next week of week 2, and then for this week I'll be doing it the week after, basically a fortnight from now. I'll be providing all the evidence that has been used in regards to this stream. So yeah, thank you so much for tuning in, every single one of you. Take care of yourself. Sana Deck says she's a bugaboo. You, I thought that song was meant for guys. I didn't know Destiny Child was writing for women as well. So Dove says she wanted to be a wag to a wealthy man. You must be British, because wag means wife and girlfriends over here. I don't think Americans use that. You must be British. So yeah, but yeah, bugaboo, same as leech. Yeah, she's a lurker, leecher, whatever you want to call it. I think it fits. But yeah, I appreciate every single one of you for interacting. Also, if you're watching this on replay, consider supporting the channel also in regards to whatever amount you believe is proportionate. It will really help us grow. It will really help the channel, grow and get better equipment. Hopefully build a team that will make a lot of this content come out really quickly for you guys, because there's so much I want to cover. The Corny Clinic case has dropped a new video evidence. I definitely want to go into that, but I still have part 3 of the Depp v. Heard doc to push out, which shall all be coming out by the end of the month. I'm going to be releasing the next phase of the interviews from the Depp v. Heard doc. I'm going to start the release. I'm going to start the release from this Sunday. So yeah, make sure you look out for that. I thank you, every single one of you, for tuning in and giving us your time. Take care of yourself and have a great day. Bye-bye.